Hey guys, so in today's lesson, I will be sharing 7 secrets to help you learn, remember, and actually use new English vocabulary in your real life. And to help you get started, I have an amazing free resource for you. It's 1,000 common English words and expressions. Now, these words and expressions have been taken from real conversations and organized for you in this awesome free PDF. So to get it, all you have to do is click the link just below this video. I'll also be using some of the words and expressions in today's lesson as examples, so make sure that you get the PDF, all right? So let's talk about the 7 secrets to help you improve your English vocabulary. So first of all, do not try to learn everything. Don't try to learn every single new word or new phrase or new expression that you hear or that you see, okay? And the reason for this is that not everybody needs to know everything, okay? So not everyone needs to know everything. That's just the reality, all right? And a common mistake that I see a lot of English learners making is that they try to learn every single new word that they hear or that they read. And I understand that when you're learning a language, you're excited. You want to learn more and more, and you want to learn faster. And I totally get that. And that's a great thing. It's great to be motivated, but it's more effective if you focus on quality over quantity when it comes to vocabulary, okay? So quality over quantity. And by this I mean you can choose between 3 to 5 new words or new expressions to learn at one time, okay? But choose them carefully. Choose words and phrases that you can and will use in your real life. So when you go to work, you can actually use them. When you talk to your friends, you can actually use them. When you write a message or an email, you can actually use them, okay? And this will be much more effective than learning everything at once, but then not actually using it, okay? So remember, the first thing, do not try to learn every single thing. Focus on quality over quantity. And I'm going to give you one more example to help you really understand this first concept, okay? So even myself, as an English language teacher and a native English speaker, I do not know every single word in English, and that is just the way it is. Nobody really knows every single word in their language or any language, okay? For example, there are a lot of technical medical words and medical terms that I don't know, but my doctor might know, okay? And the reality is that I don't need to know every single word and phrase in the world. I need to know the words, expressions, and phrases that will help me to communicate better, okay? So if I were a doctor, then these technical medical terms would be more important and more relevant to me, okay? So remember, do not try to learn every single thing. Focus on quality over quantity. Okay, so I've told you not to try to learn every single new word and to focus on quality over quantity, which brings us to point number 2, and that is to choose the right vocabulary, okay? Choose the right vocabulary. And you might be wondering, what is right and wrong vocabulary? And that is a really, really great question, okay? So not everyone needs to learn every single thing. Not everyone needs to know every single word or every single phrase or every single expression in the world, okay? So the right vocabulary looks different for every single person when it comes to studying, all right? So what you should look for when choosing the right vocabulary to learn is things that you hear often, okay? Things that you hear often, maybe that other people say or that you see when you're reading, or you hear on TV, or you hear in movies, or you hear online, things that you hear often, okay? Secondly, you should learn things that you actually care about, okay? Things that you care about. So vocabulary related to your hobbies, related to your interests, related to your work. And third, you should learn things that you need, okay? So if you need English to travel, if you need English for work, if you need English for an exams, the vocabulary that you have to learn will look a little bit different, all right? So to help you understand maybe what the right vocabulary looks like, we're going to take an example from today's PDF, okay? Number 834. Number 834. And this phrase or this expression is heads up or just a heads up, okay? Heads up or just a heads up. So imagine that in your office or in your workplace, one of your colleagues always says this, okay? He always says, hey, just a heads up, I'll need your help later today. Or just a heads up, we have to finish this by the end of the week, okay? Or just a heads up, the boss is looking for you. And you keep hearing this expression, heads up, just a heads up, and you're like, what is this? What does it mean, okay? In this case, this is the right vocabulary for you to learn because you hear it often, okay? You hear it all the time. So even if you don't use it yourself all the time, you need to at least understand it, all right? So just a heads up is basically a warning, okay? It's like, just so you know, it's a warning when you want to give someone some information, not when they are in danger, okay? So that one, again, is number 834 on your PDF, okay? So learn the right vocabulary, the right expressions, the right phrases for you based on what you hear often, what you see often, what you care about, and what you actually need. So number 3 is to organize your vocabulary, okay? To organize your vocabulary. Now, to help you understand this concept, I want you to think back to when you were a student in school, okay? Remember when you were in primary school or middle school or college, university, whatever. If you are not a student now, think back to your school days, okay? In school, you had different subjects or different classes. And in each subject, you learned new words and new expressions and new phrases related to that subject, okay? So for example, in science class, you learned scientific terminology or scientific words, okay? In art class, you learned words and phrases around the topic of art, and so on and so on. So back in the day when you were a student, if you are not a student now, you learned vocabulary in an organized way, even in your own language. The difference is that the teachers organized it for you. But now, as you are learning as an adult, if you are learning English as an adult, you basically have to do the same thing for yourself, okay? So instead of subjects, you have to make categories for yourself. So organize all of your new words and expressions into categories. So you can have, for example, vocabulary for work, vocabulary for social situations, vocabulary to talk about your hobbies or to talk about different topics, and so on, okay? So this logic is actually how you have learned your own language, have learned vocabulary in your own language. You just have to now take the concept and apply it to learning English as an adult, okay? So keep your vocabulary and your phrases organized into categories that you create for your own life. Number 4 is to learn words and phrases in context, okay? In context. So when you see, let's say, a phrasal verb or an idiom or a new expression that you like, you need to look at how it is being used, what topic it is being used to talk about. You need to look at the whole sentence, the whole paragraph, the whole story, not just the word isolated on its own, okay? So learning isolated words out of context might actually be more confusing for you, okay? So when you learn a new word, a new phrase, a new expression, pay attention to how it is being used, where it is being used, what it is being used to talk about, okay? So is it used in a question? Is it used in a negative sentence? Is it used only to talk about this one subject, okay? So pay close attention to the context of the new words or the new phrases that you are trying to learn. Number 5 is to learn from real life, okay? To learn vocabulary from real life. And by this I mean from authentic materials, from authentic things, not only from English textbooks or from English worksheets. It's great to learn vocabulary from real life, okay? This is actually one of my favorites on this list, and it is something that I teach to all of my students because I know that it works, okay? So here's what I mean. If you like cooking, learn vocabulary from recipes in English. Watch cooking lessons online in English, okay? And learn vocabulary, learn phrases from this, something that is real, okay? You can learn from television shows, from movies, from books, from blogs, from magazines, from music, anything that is real. Don't only use textbooks. Don't only do exercises and worksheets, okay? And the reason for this is because we learn a language to communicate in the real world, okay? And this type of practice in textbooks is very controlled. It's a very controlled type of practice, and it's only one type of practice, okay? And unfortunately, exercises and sentences that you see in textbooks and on worksheets are not always natural. They don't always sound natural. So it is best to learn your vocabulary from real life materials, from authentic materials, and things that you actually come across in your day-to-day life rather than just from textbooks and from worksheets. Number 6 is to learn new words thoroughly. Okay, to learn new words thoroughly. So thoroughly just means in detail, in a complete way, 100%, okay? And what do I mean by this? I mean that when you learn a new word, it's not just a matter of seeing the word, translating it, saying, oh, okay, I understand, cool, I know this word now. That's not how it works, unfortunately. You have to be a little more thorough than that, okay? So when you hear a new word and you want to learn it, you need to look at, of course, the meaning of the word, the spelling of the word, the pronunciation, what part of speech is it, okay? Is it a noun, an adjective, a phrasal verb, a verb? What is it, okay? And variations or other forms of this word. And then you can come up with good examples and actually remember them, okay? And this might seem like a lot of work, okay? But it is not. You can do this really, really easily using Google. With a quick Google search, you can very easily get all of this information in a matter of seconds, okay? So I'm gonna show you how to do that. We're going to take one of the words from the free PDF, okay? Number 91 on the list is the word dedicated, okay? Dedicated. Now, dedicated can be an adjective, or it can be a past tense verb, okay? So I'm actually gonna share my screen with you really quickly just to show you how you can get all of this information about the word dedicated or any new word with a quick Google search, all right? So on your phone or your computer, you're going to search for Google Dictionary, and then you're just gonna type in the word that you want to look up. So we're gonna look up number 91 on our PDF, which is the word dedicated, okay? And dedicated just means that you really care about something, you're very committed to it, okay? So when we look up the word dedicated, we get, of course, the correct spelling right at the top here. So just in case you misspelled the word or you don't know the correct spelling, Google is going to give you the correct spelling, okay? I also said that you have to learn the pronunciation of the word, and you can do that here very easily. So first you can listen to the correct pronunciation. So let's go ahead and listen.
Dedicated.
All right, dedicated. And then you get this option here, learn to pronounce, okay? So when you click learn to pronounce, this is the screen that you're going to see. So you're actually going to see the word broken down into syllables. You can also choose at the top right of the screen here, American pronunciation or British pronunciation. Okay, so we already heard British pronunciation. Let's listen to the American pronunciation. And then we can actually practice ourselves, okay?
Dedicated.
All right, so let's practice. Dedicated. All right, so it shows you how you actually did. So pronunciation looks good. And if there are any areas that you need to work on, you will see that as well, okay? So my pronunciation here was good. All right, so we'll go back to the original screen where we searched for our word. And we already looked at the spelling, we practiced the pronunciation, and then we can look at the word in more detail, a little more thoroughly, okay? So we see here that the first meaning, the first definition is an adjective, okay? So this is a describing word. We can use it to describe people. So the example that they've given us here is a dedicated team of doctors, okay? So a committed, devoted team of doctors who really, really cares about their patients, all right? But as I mentioned, dedicated can also be a verb. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that dedicate is also a verb and the past tense is dedicated, okay? And you get some more examples here as well. So Joan has dedicated her life to animals, okay? Joan has dedicated her life to animals. So this really quick search gives you everything that you need to know. You get your spelling, your pronunciation, your part of speech, different forms of the word. So you see the adjective and the verb. You also get some great examples and some similar words to help you connect when you hear variations or synonyms of this word in a sentence, all right? So all of this information is available with just one really quick search. And last but certainly not least, number 7 is to use your new vocabulary, okay? To use your new vocabulary. So these 6 strategies that we've talked about so far are fantastic for learning and understanding new words, new phrases, and new expressions in English. But it is up to you to then go out into the real world and actually use all of these things that you have learned, okay? Because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So make sure that you use your new expressions, your new phrases, your new words at work, in emails, in conversations with people. Make sure that you use them, okay? So you can leave comments under this video using some of the new words that you learned maybe from today's video. You can download the PDF and leave some examples down below using the words and expressions that you have learned, okay? But whatever way you practice, the point is that you need to practice, okay? Learning a language is not just a matter of inputting information into your brain. You also need to produce something with all of the new language that you have learned, okay? So make sure that you consciously or purposely or intentionally practice using the new words and the new expressions that you have learned, and over time you will remember them, okay? And then you can learn more and more and more. So there you have it, my 7 secrets to learn, remember, and actually use new English vocabulary in your real life. Do not forget to download the PDF. And if you want to seriously level up your English vocabulary, I've teamed up with the Speak English with Tiffany Academy to bring you the weekly English Words membership. You have brand new lessons with me every single week. Check it out via the link down below or visit weeklyenglishwords.com. Now, as always, thank you so much for watching and for learning with me, and I will see you soon in the next one.